Hello, hello, human design aligners. We are on Tuesday, January 10th. The sun is in the fifth line of gate 54. And so 54 is Marian the Maiden. And that fifth line is that opportunist, is the Heredit line, the knight in shining armor, the one who wants to come in and really save the day, looking at the collective. And so magnanimity is our key word here. The natural authority and actualizing spirit that in a position of power can have genuine and fruitful relationship with the less advantaged, as long as they are in service and make no demands. The energy for actualizing that despite its power fuels fruitful relationships with others. There's no polarity, there's no detriment. And so really when you are in power and you are in this position, realizing that the only way that you can truly keep this power or gain this power is to build these relationships that are ones that are like-minded, right? Are ones that support you and want to keep you in power. And so creating these symbiotic relationships, these relationships that we help one another, we collaborate with one another, especially when you are one of power, realizing that you didn't get there all alone. And if you did try to get there by yourself, that it is still the others who are following you, who are listening to you, who are going along with what you're saying. That is really why you are there in power and to begin with. And so really looking at this energy of how can we build these relationships and have these relationships so that we are really listening to the divine inspiration, so that we are really leaning into what we're really meant to be and do and on this planet. And even those people in power, they're not just meant to be there to just be in power and say that they are the leader, right? They're here fulfilling their soul purpose. And so when they're doing it though in this fruitful and in this heart-based way, that's where their ripple becomes that much more. And so it doesn't really matter what level on the ladder, if you want to look at it in that way, of somebody in power or somebody down along the bottom being the one of service. We need to have these intermingling relationships. We need to realize that each and every individual has their own gift to bring to the table, and that it doesn't really matter where they're at, that we need to see the people for their gift, not whatever socioeconomic status or however you want to say that it is, because we are all unique and we all offer something different. And so we get gate 40, restoration, coming from our heart, really looking at that ego, right? That ego center, and looking at our value. And so this energy of restoration, the challenge here is to learn to value yourself enough to retreat from the community so that you can restore, restock, and replenish your resources. And sometimes this means like creating relationships, especially when you become somebody in power, creating relationships, or maybe it's even positions, right? Of where can I start delegating out some of my tasks, some of my responsibilities to people that I can trust as I'm starting to grow and I'm starting to rise, right? So maybe it's a practice of also spreading the power out, right? So that we can restore. And so to master this is the ability to retreat as a way of replenishing and bring your renewed self back into community when you are ready, so that you have more to give. And so truly seeing that we can't really do it all by ourselves, right? If we want to have this business, if we want to make this huge, ripple effect, that it's so much more beautiful when we can come together and lean and support on one another, so that we all can take our turns of this restoration, of this restoring, right? That it doesn't need to come from this place of like dictatorship, or that people need to do this to serve me, right? Being that person of power, but more of a place of, all right, I've helped you and I've trained you, and I'm putting you in this management position so that I don't need to be overlooking all of the tasks, right? We want to learn how to delegate, how to empower the rest of the community, because that empowering, that is what truly is going to uplift all of humanity. We need to give other people that opportunity to rise, to soar, to step back into their power in a collaborative way. And when we start to do that, we start to get more freedom, right? And like I said, like if we want to have this all, be this all, do this all, and we can start creating these relationships of collaboration, right? Then we do have the freedom. We don't have to sit there and overlook everything. We don't have to do everything on our own. We start to open up to have more possibilities. We start in delegating out some of our responsibilities, and then more possibilities, more opportunity starts to come. We start to get to do the piece of the business that we love to do, right? And so really learning how to see other people's gifts, really learning how to quiet that ego and realize that we're not in competition with anybody. Nobody's in competition with us. And when we can start reframing that and realizing that, and stop coming from this place of lack in this fight, like I gotta fight and prove, and I'm gonna do it all on my own, and I'm gonna suffer, right? We're not meant to suffer. We're meant to enjoy. We're meant to restore. We're meant to have this freedom. We're meant to work together.